I know we're getting ready. We're going into this is the end of the year. I feel like it's the home stretch to be done. So, Maury, I got to ask you: do you have fancy plans for Christmas? You got visitors you don't want, visitors you do want? What are you doing?
Oh, always visitors I want. Love company. I am a Christmas decorator. I'll confess, I decorate the place from head to toe. So that's coming up and I'm trying to skinny it down. I'm not succeeding very well on that, but I have stopped buying decorations. My husband's had the divorce papers drawn up just in case I invest another dime in yet another Christmas decoration. So
You,
with
you
that hanging out there, I've been really restrained.
you may have a kindred spirit in Jerry's house. Jerry, you want to
Yes.
share a fun fact?
Well, I downsized in the last couple of years since I'd moved, obviously, and went from 50 tubs of Christmas stuff that I had to unbind every year to 12. So I'm very proud of that. But all 12 of those tubs have been opened, and in my relatively modest home here, every room is loaded with all kinds of stuff to keep my wife very happy that it's Christmas.
Well, if you need a few more tubs full, every year I try to jettison a few out in the yard. We do a big neighborhood yard sale, and I'm trying to skinny it down. But too much sentimental stuff in there. It's hard to let go.
I know it's hard. It's very hard. And whenever I do it, I have to kind of move it right past my wife that really quick so she doesn't see it, because otherwise it's going to get saved.
I have in Jerry's previous home. He has this basement, right? This is fun facts about Jerry. It should be its own show, but he has this basement, and of course, there's wine down there, as one would expect. But it literally looks like the surplus closet of Mrs. Claus. Like there were just buckets and buckets and tubs of stuff. And one beautiful thing I love about Jerry and his wife, year round, Maury, they have the coffee mugs are Christmas mugs all year.
Lovely.
So Jerry, did the Christmas mugs make it to the new home?
Oh yeah, they did. There's no question that they're just sitting there, and that's all I. In fact, I just brought it back. I'm sorry. I would be able to use that myself.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, we do have Christmas coming up. It is the end of the year, but we do have some fun stuff to talk about because you've done a little bit of work that I think deserves a bit of a spotlight. Maury, we ready to get started?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the CXR channel, our premier podcast for talent acquisition and talent management. Listen in as the CXR community discusses a wide range of topics focused on attracting, engaging, and retaining the best talent. We're glad you're here.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Recruiting Community Podcast. We do weekly insights and updates in the form of a conversation. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
There you
go. You're just claiming Mr. Claus. I see how you are. No problem. Look, really quickly, we have invited Maury Hanigan of SparcStart, and who is also a CXR Community and Solutions member, to connect on new research that she has sponsored with regards to the impact of video on quality of candidates, recruiting efficiencies, candidate experience. We have read the report. She actually showcased that report. We did a leadership summit out in Tucson just about a month ago. And a lot of folks got kind of excited about the details that came out of that. So we're excited to have some of that data. It is not a small sample that was involved in that work either. This is not a survey that was done with 50 people. This is substantial. This is notable. So we've got some questions, and as usual, we're expecting pretty fun conversation with Maury. A few quick things first. We're streaming on the YouTube, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the Twitch, and you can go to cxr.work/podcast to see past and future episodes. And the only thing I'd add to that for today is that if you're with us live on LinkedIn and you've got questions, you can drop questions in that chat there. We'll throw those up on the screen. If those come in, you can just say hi to everybody, or you can ask Maury some questions about the survey and all the research that has gone into this report. And we've got a download link for you as well. We'll make sure that's available to everybody. Jerry, anything you want to add before we bring Maury back in?
No, I think you got it all.
I went light today. We went light on the intro today. All right, let's go ahead and welcome Maury back in. Maury, let's put you in the big kid chair. There you are. So I can see you. Welcome
Great,
back.
thanks. Thank you.
So, Maury, we know you, CEO, founder of SparcStart. I think you got a fun tagline, recruiting strategist. But I know you as you are a fan of hard work. You are a fan of folks who lean in within the talent industry. You lean in yourself quite a bit. Why don't you give everybody sort of the escalator pitch of who is Maury and why should we be paying attention to what Maury has to say?
Good question on the final, but I'll tell you who I am and what I do. I started my career in marketing at Procter & Gamble and then Pepsi, which you and I never ran across each other. But I'm a marketer by training and mindset, right? And I believe that good recruiting should use the same tools as good marketing. And the marketing folks have known forever how to persuade people, how to engage people, how to build credibility. And they tend to do that with video. And most recruiting organizations try to engage candidates with text. And you've got a massive mismatch there. So I've spent the last 13 years at SparcStart trying to make it easy for people to use video so that their programs will be more efficient and they'll connect better with candidates. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward, but that's what I do. I have a ton of data. I'm a data junkie, as you guys know. I love data. I flail around in it like crazy. I think we're up around 40,000 videos uploaded to the SparcStart platform. So I got a lot of data. I've seen tons of it. I've seen what works and what doesn't. We work with a lot of CXR, members and a lot of other major corporations. So I've had the privilege of watching people who do it well, watching people go through adoption processes. And this is what I live and breathe and do all day long. So if there's a reason to listen to me, it's because I've got access to data and I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. So I hopefully can bring all those stories and share them.
I love it. I love it. So a couple things we highlighted. I think we did it in the show description, but we talked about the impact of video and the way we're going to talk about it. We talked about higher quality of candidates. Ultimately, we talked about efficiency gains in the recruiting process. Certainly that boils down to money, right? And then an enhanced candidate experience. But before we kind of dig into those, let me ask you, let's talk a little bit about the methodology behind this report. And maybe you can share a little bit about the scale of it. Right. So not just how it was done, but also like this is, like I said in the intro, this is not like 50 people got surveyed. Like there's some meat behind this.
Oh, yeah. There were almost 10,000 candidates, 9,958, I believe, off the top of my head. So this study was done independently. SparcStart did not do it. We sponsored it. I wrote the check, but I wrote the check and I was told, go away, we'll let you know how it comes out. So I didn't have a lot of control. I had no control over anything beyond that, although SparcStart was the platform that was used to record, approve, and make the videos available to candidates. But the way the study was done, and the reason we're so excited about it, is it's a very clean A/B study. It was done by the Sourcing Institute, Shelley Sheckard, who many people know. And what happened is for half the candidates, they were sent a recruiter message along with a written job description, and half of the candidates got that. Other half of the candidates got the same message from the recruiter, the same job description, but the job description included a 20 to 30 second video from the hiring manager. Right? So this wasn't a big, long, video job description. It didn't try to, God forbid, read the job description. It was just a hiring manager who said, hi, I'm Chris. I run the whatever department. If you're excited about XYZ, please apply or send us your application. It was just a short, put a human face and human voice on it. And all of those, the candidates that were reached out to, it was all done simultaneously. So same timing, same city, same job descriptions, and just half with the video added, half without. So it's as clean a study as you can get. And it's exciting because there were so many candidates. It was done Q2 of this year. It took a while. There was a lot of data there to analyze. But that's the study in a nutshell. You ready for the results? The big
Yeah. So let's talk results, right? So from an impact perspective, I think that the report mentions the video enhanced outreach comes in at over 35% increase in candidates moving on to the interview. which is a little mind blowing, right? So
Huge.
are
It's a big number in this world. Yeah.
it's massive. Yeah, it's massive. Like moving forward, right? Not just clicking through. So, are there any specific factors that you think, with your own expertise, right? And the things, to your own words, you said things that work and don't work. But are there any specific factors in those videos, like tone or content, or that you would say maybe contribute to those type of numbers?
It's not so much the video, and what the video really does is it gets the candidates to slow down. Once somebody sees a video of their boss, and it only works if it's the hiring manager, right? If it's a general employee testimonial, or it's a video of the national sales manager and you're looking for a regional person, it makes a big difference when it's the boss, because when that happens, the candidate watches this little snippet, and the first thing they do is they put a face on it and they go, it's the job with that guy, or it's the job with that woman, rather than all of these job descriptions that seem so interchangeable and hard to figure out. So they log it into their head with a specific job. But then more importantly, they slow down and they actually read some of the outreach message and some of the job description. I mean, with the 40,000 videos we've got, we can see that candidates spend at least twice as long on a page when you've got that hiring manager video there. And so what happens is they learn a little bit about the job and they do a better job opting in or opting out. The one thing that I wish this study had quantified, and we didn't anticipate it ahead of time to keep track of it, was in the study it's referred to as fewer low-value inquiries, which is a euphemism. When Shally reported the results back to us, if you know him, you understand how he put it straightforward. He said there were fewer stupid questions. And so if the recruiter outreach said this job is hybrid, it's 2 days a week on site, you didn't have candidates reaching out to a recruiter going, is this remote? Because it was right there. The candidates who slowed down and actually looked at the outreach information and the job description saw that it was 2 days remote, if that was the case for the job. And so if they couldn't do 2 days remote in Austin because they lived in Michigan, they didn't apply. So they pulled themselves out. So the recruiter didn't spend time that's, obviously unproductive talking to somebody who's either not qualified, available, or interested. Those are the qualifications.
Yeah.
And candidates that were interested got really excited about it. They got to meet their boss. They read a little about the job and they applied. So the efficiency went all the way through because you had fewer unqualified or uninterested people that were applying. The process worked.
Yeah, so two things strike me as you share that, Maury. One being the time spent on the page a little longer, obviously longer than the video view, but like one of the biggest complaints a lot of TA leaders have right now is just these mass applies. People who clearly aren't even reading the job description. Why take the time to go through and fill these out and put requirements and desirements and all the things in there? The videos here are now encouraging people to stop and kind of digest a little bit more about the role. I think that's super, super critical. And the other call out that I think is kind of interesting is the impact that the data shows the hiring manager being the person on the video, not necessarily the recruiter or a spokesperson or some generic, person that comes in and shoots the B-roll, like that kind of thing.
Right. Yep. And we've known that for a long time. It's the reason with Sparks. I mean, we have a product on the SparcStart platform that does your employer brand video and all of that. And there are a lot of places you can and should use video. But if you're looking to attract candidates to a specific requisition, the hiring manager is really the only video you want to put in there. Maybe a coworker, that's helpful, but people want to hear from their boss. That makes a huge difference. I mean, we all know people, they leave jobs mostly because they don't like their boss. They also take jobs because they look at someone and go, gee, I could learn from that person, or that looks like a reasonable person. I always love to tell the results. When I started SparcStart, we did focus groups with women and people of color and said, if the hiring manager is a white male, and you see that on the video, is that going to influence your willingness to apply? And the answer was yes, but in a positive way, because what people said back to us was, I don't need to work for another woman or another person of color. I just need to work for someone who's going to respect me, who's going to support my career. I don't want to work for a monster. And once you add transparency, a word that you guys rightfully love, once you say, here's the person you're going to work for. So, Chris, if you're the hiring manager, you're a pretty white male. But
Don't get
you
much
seem,
whiter than this. Yeah.
yeah, but you seem like a perfectly reasonable human being. And so you've taken away the chance, like, ooh, who is this person? Do I need to be worried here? You know, what's the reputation? It's like, I could probably work for him. Let me at least talk to him. Let me see. You know, it just helps the whole process work more efficiently.
I love it. I love that. And I just, for those who may be listening, not watching in the replay here, we have put a link up on the screen where you can go grab the report. Maury's got it available out on the site. It's SparcStart, SPARC, start.com/sourcing-efficiency. You can find that and grab that report and check out the results in there. I want to pivot a little bit too. Let's talk about efficiency, because I think return on investment's a big one when we start talking about dollars. I think the report came in at like 26% reduction in outreach effort. So in the work required to bring people in, getting the same results. Is there any? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it went all the way through. It was 26%. And in the study, they were supposed to be reaching out to equal numbers of both. But at one point, they'd filled their hiring slate. So they stopped, which I think is really interesting. I mean, they normalized all the results to a slate of 10 candidates to put in front of the hiring manager, ready for hiring manager interview. Now, there's some hiring managers want fewer people, some want more, but we sort of normalized it all for the numbers. But the outreach is reduced by 21%. There were fewer people that had to be screened and fewer people that had to be assessed. Let me make my numbers straight. The screens were 32% fewer screening calls by the recruiters, because they had a higher quality applicant pool. They reached out, they talked to someone, the person was qualified, interested, and available. They put them on, they then in most cases sent them on to an assessment if that was appropriate, and then on to the hiring manager interview. So they had to screen 32% less, and they had to put 11% fewer through the assessment. And a piece that Jerry will love, because he always cares about the candidate experience, is ultimately 7% fewer people were rejected, because they self-selected out. So the company didn't have to say, no, we don't want you, go away. And which the fewer people that you end up rejecting, the better off you are. Nobody wants to get a reject letter.
I mean, that's really true. There's no question that there's an advantage here. And I love the data issue here. It really, without any doubt, you are proving the point of the importance of video as a component of that journey, but not only the importance of video, but the importance of the hiring manager's involvement in that video.
Yeah.
The two-edged sword, though, is while you may have 7% fewer rejections, you will have rejections. Mm-hmm. And because you've increased the concentration, if you will, of quality talent, it just makes it that much more important that when you do reject someone, that you do it well, that you do it with respect, that you don't ghost them. Right. And so hopefully that will encourage more companies who are using those kinds of tools to do a better job in how they follow up with the other elements of how you influence the candidate's experience of what they've done.
Yeah, everybody talks about wanting to connect with candidates, and video helps that happen, because once you've seen somebody, you feel like you have a sense of them, right? It's very different if you're about to go in an interview, and at least you've seen the person talk and you've seen what they look like. You've got a little sense of their style. That really helps. But it does give you an obligation that you now have a relationship. Someone feels like they know your hiring manager, and so they're going to expect courtesy back. So absolutely, you need to do it.
So in that same vein, candidate experience. So, and Jerry, this may be a you question, although both of you are huge fans of candidate experience. How does that translate to long-term benefits for employer branding?
We don't have an hour or two. Look, we both talk to talent acquisition. We all talk to talent acquisition leaders all day long, right? It's what we do for a living. And how often have you heard the phrase, our people are our biggest asset, right? And if you've got a strong organization, you've got good people, you want to put them out front. it's your biggest asset. And talent acquisition isn't leveraging that in any of their outreach or any of their branding. If your hiring managers are knowledgeable, have expertise, are good human beings, then you absolutely want to leverage that. So the more that you get your hiring managers out there, and now being able to do this at scale. We've come from an age where videos were expensive to produce. You brought in professional production teams. You possibly got a video of maybe a dozen people at most out of an organization that might be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. But with hiring manager video, I mean, we've done it so we've automated the whole thing, right? You can have every single hiring manager put a video on their job description. You've got to approve it. But other than that, the entire thing is automated. So now people really get a chance to meet your folks and get a sense of your organization. And it changes how your company is perceived. You're no longer this written job descriptions with 5 paragraphs of text and 19 bullet points that looks like everybody else's 5 paragraphs of text and 19 bullet points. All of a sudden, it's Chris and Jerry. Oh, those are real guys. Those are real people. I could see myself working for them. It changes the entire relationship.
Yeah, I think so. Same exact space that I sit in, Maury. So same exact space. So my thought is that level of transparency really gives you an eye into the organization, and I think there's power with that hiring manager being the one that says, "I'm going to be the person that you're working with. This is going to be the place that you may sit. Like this is the type of work that we do." I think that does have a long tail impact on how the organization gets branded and how it communicates what's available out there.
Absolutely. It does all of that. And, we've heard TA leaders, start to think about, let's pick their development group and go, oh, we could never put George on video. Oh my God, we can't do that. Or I'm not sure my hiring managers are going to come across well on video. And I always say people recognize their tribe, right? One of my favorite videos that ever came in was from a software developer who was in a shirt that had never seen an iron in its life, had a case of bedhead that you couldn't believe. But he was absolutely authentic and real. And he said, in this job, here's what you do. If you get excited about that, come join us. And I have a son who does software development. A lot of his friends in college looked exactly like this kid, right? We see people on internal audit, they tend not to be the same personality as your salespeople. They come across differently on video, but that's okay. Your salespeople are going to gravitate to your sales roles. Your internal audit people are going to gravitate there. Your finance people are going to gravitate there. Recruiting, we think people need to come across like recruiters. And that's not the case. As long as you've got a basically positive corporate culture, let your people talk. You just trust them to, especially if you're only giving them 20 seconds, but you can approve all of it. There's got to be a trust there. That if you're trusting someone to manage people, hopefully they are also intelligent enough and coherent enough that they can spit out 20 seconds of, if you're excited about XYZ, please come join us.
Yeah.
This reminds me, Chris, of, I think it was your first meeting, Career Crossroads meeting as my partner. I think it was in Chicago, and I think that we had the head of Nike, TA, come in, and he showed a video that blew everybody's mind at the time. And this is 9 years ago, where the head of IT, of all of IT, basically spoke as if he was speaking to the candidates, and essentially explained, here's what we're trying to accomplish. And if you are interested in that kind of thing, I want you to, apply. And here's how you apply, and I will pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And it really was extraordinary. And this is just an evolution, I think, of being able to do this at scale. And that's really what you're talking about, Maury.
Right. It's not the one or two. One of my favorite examples, someone was presenting to one of the investment banks, and they had the formal video the investment bank had produced with, the drone shot of the building and all the static kinds of things that are in there. And then an intern who had recorded a video about her internship that was done very informally, to say the least, and also had the view rates of both of them. And the corporate video had essentially no views, and the intern had a lot of views. And the head of investment banking said, wait, that's not sanctioned. It's like, people are going to make videos anyway. You might as well give them the tools and give them the guardrails and have an approval process in there, because people are going to make video anyway. So use it constructively, use it positively, and yeah, we'll get after. Yeah,
well, I don't want to stop you. I kind of want to double click on one of those. So the two things that we hear, and I'm sure you hear a laundry list of them given your profession, but with your video champion hat on, I think the two things we hear are security of talent, right? So how do we pick and how do we guardrail? But the other tends to sometimes be like investment. So like really investing in the video experience, and like delivering on, this is going to be a barrier to entry. It's going to be expensive. Like, would you have any advice for organizations maybe who are kind of hesitant to invest in the video, Maury, due to perceived production costs, or maybe even the complexity that they're kind of thinking that comes with?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't do formal production, because candidates can sense that a mile away. And please don't script people. Employees are not formal, are not professional actors. They can't read a script. And when you read a script, you can hear people's voices go flat, and right away they're reading. It's dreadful. And from a cost perspective, you want to have a platform. I'll just straight out plug SparcStart. We can do it very economically, very easily, with all the safeguards and everything built right in. So you don't need to hire this formal production team. You can do it. They're short videos. They can, they get embedded right on the career site. It's easy to do these days. The technology makes it easy. If you're thinking you need a camera crew to come in, you're thinking 1990s or below. In 2024, 2025, you can flip a switch, and this all works really well and really beautifully.
I love it. Now, Maury, I got to ask you, and I got two things. I brought a dad joke. I know
I didn't.
May not be your forte. That's okay, but you're going to have to tolerate this one. Are you ready?
Ready.
Why did the recruiter start using videos in their outreach?
I'm just going to claim I'm stumped. I'm not even going to wing one for that. Yes, why?
Because they wanted candidates to literally apply themselves. Yeah. Come on, that might be my best homemade dad joke of the year. No, Jerry fell asleep. He didn't like it at all.
We're glad the year is almost over, so you can bring that one.
Don't make me choke on my own joke. Come on. Oh God. All right. So Maury, so really quickly before I ask you our closeout question, for those who are still listening, SparcStart.com/sourcing-efficiency is where you can grab this report and dig into it. The data is really, really interesting. It does deserve a little bit of your time. It will not take you all afternoon to digest this, but it's some pretty powerful data. I'm sure you can reach out to Maury as well if you've got questions about that report. Please. But Maury, if you were going to write a book about this topic and the research that came out of this, what would the title of your book be?
Getting basics right. This
okay.
is it. I look at, there are people who get lost all the time and haven't downloaded Google Maps to their phone, right? There's some technology that just solves 90% of what you need to do. And video is one of those things. It doesn't solve every single challenge that TA is facing. There are lots of challenges out there. But this is a piece of core technology that's been around for a long time. I always say that, even your parents can make a video on their phone. This is not bleeding edge technology. This should be a core tool. And there's such a mismatch right now between all of the text-based outreach that companies are doing and the very poor response they're getting, and candidates not differentiating and not doing a good job opting in and opting out. It doesn't have to be this painful. Right. There is a piece of basic technology. we all watch 84% of all internet traffic is video, right? We're all watching video. If you don't have video as a core tool, you're just at a bad mismatch, and you've got the inefficiency you've got. Get the basics right, and then there are ways you can optimize that, but at least start with the tools that are readily available to you.
I would read it. I would read the book. Okay, so Maury, present company excluded. Who are you going to give the first signed copy of the book to?
How about the person who just decided not to invest in SparcStart?
Is this they who shall not be named?
It will not be named. But I'll tell you, we have doubled our business this year. We know now where we're coming in for year end, and we have doubled it in a year that has not been great for HR tech companies. But there are enough companies that have kind of woken up and go, oh yeah, we need to do this now. We just can't wait anymore on this. So it's, I'm pleased to say we've had a lot more yeses than nos this year. So it's starting to become even a competitive advantage or disadvantage if you don't have it. So been a good year.
Yeah, I would say conversations we're having leans to you got opportunity to have a heck of a 2025. So very excited for you guys.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Very cool. All right, for everybody. And Maury, don't go anywhere. Hang out in the green room after the bumper runs. Quick chat with you when we come offline. I want to thank everybody for dialing in and for what a wonderful year that we have had of podcasts and putting these together. We got over 400 some odd shows under our belt. May not always show, but we're having a good time with it. You can find all of them at double thumbs up from Jerry, cxr.works/podcast, where you can check those out. And we got a big year already planned ahead. So with that, everybody, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the CXR channel. Please subscribe to CXR on your favorite podcast resource and leave us a review while you're at it. Learn more about CXR at our website, cxr.works, facebook.com and twitter.com/careercrossroads, and on Instagram at careerxroads. We'll catch you next time.